That's true.
Now I look cool.
And you get a cool Led Zeppelin picture in the background.
I know. See, it just makes me look cool.
So much cooler.
You're distinguished.
If I had like a gold record or something, I'd hang it there, but I don't. I have a band trophy for outstanding band student in like 91. So
you should.
Do
you have any?
It's cool. So
do you have any participation ribbons or?
Probably, yeah.
Do you remember the Canadian Fitness awards when
do
at
I
school
ever?
in gym class when you'd get once a year we'd have the like long jump and all that shit, and then we get these little embroidered patches when we.
I didn't get anything.
Well, the biggest one I ever got was for high jump because usually I wasn't very good at these things, but sometimes I'd get a bronze.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never got anything. No.
And it was very exciting. Usually we get a ribbon. We'd get a ribbon for participating.
I'd have been excited. Yeah.
I was never athletic, but I liked high jump.
When I was in elementary school, like elementary, junior high, I went to Rosary School, which was Catholic, surprise. Mm-hmm. And we did Rosary games in June. And I went through my whole life there in school. And you got once gold, silver, or bronze. And you got an actual medal. And I wanted one so bad when I was a little kid.
Yes.
And I never won. And I never won anything. Not bronze, nothing, fucking zero. Nothing. Until I got to like grade 9. And I didn't fucking care anymore. And then I won a silver. I was like, great. And then I threw it away. I ignored it. But like.
You threw it away?
Well, I don't know. I did something, but I didn't fucking care. But when I was in grade 2, I would have murdered somebody for that. But anyway. There you go. See,
it always felt so exciting and such a huge accomplishment in elementary when you won anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was.
That was such an exciting thing. Yeah, like the whole track and field thing, I was not really my thing. I was really big into sports, just never did well at those things.
You didn't love running? Running, just run as fast as you can.
There was a reason why I was a goalie in soccer.
I was not about running. We're doing push-ups.
I like jumping, obviously.
Jumping.
I like jumping. Yeah. I could jump very much.
I like to jump. I like jumping. What's your favorite, Naomi? I like jumping.
Running and jumping.
Jump, jump, jump. All day.
Break. We're going to take a break. Let's. All right, guys, it's hammer time.
Hammer man, hammer man, hammer. Whenever there's a crime, some crooks are gonna do time. They all better beware, cause the hammer man will be there. Here's how it started, a long time ago. The legend of the hammer and how it began to grow. He was given magical shoes from a hip-hop Motown dude. Together they had power. They stood up for what was right. But Gramps was getting old and he couldn't do what was right. So Gramps and his granddaughter, they went out on the road to find a man they knew could jam, who was worthy of the load. They met a guy named Stanley who was dancing every night. He helped the kids play every day. His heart was out of sight. So Gramps opened up the bag and took out the magical shoes. He set them on the ground and they soon began to groove. The shoes knew at once they had finally found their man. They hopped right on his feet and he became Hammer Man, Hammer Man, Hammer, Hammer Man, Hammer, Hammer Man, Hammer, Hammer Man, Hammer. Oh yeah!
Yeah.
So,
that was certifiably terrible.
Yeah.
That was amazing, you guys. That was ABC Saturday mornings. I think it was only one season. And
no.
I think so.
How?
I gotta pull up the Hammer wiki to fact check my bullshit.
No matter how many syllables you have in your word, just put them in a line and put more in the next one. If you have 96, just jam all in.
How many people are just going to be going, Hammer, Hammer Man, after that?
Hammer. It gets stuck in your head, though.
It does.
One thing I've noticed listening to MC Hammer over the last day is so many of his songs' choruses were just like a phrase being repeated. Like, yo, sweetness is my weakness. Then there was the same thing. It did the same thing in the song Crime Story. which is also off the same album. Crime Story, No Glory, or something like that. It's just that was his.
Can't touch this. Da, 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 da. Can't touch this.
Can't touch this.
His hooks were so simple, but they worked.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, he had that cartoon. I want to say, yes, 1991. Hammerman lasted for 1 season, 13 episodes, and I believe it was aired back to back with the New Kids on the Block cartoon, which would make total sense.
Yeah, it's around the same time.
Yes. Stanley Kirk Burrell is his name. He was early in his career, wasn't even a musician yet, and as a kid, he grew up in Oakland, California, and he became a bat boy for the Oakland Athletics baseball team.
Yeah, didn't he originally want to be a baseball player? Wasn't that like I thought I read something about that he originally wanted to be a baseball player and then he went into music.
Early life and yeah, well, let me see here. Young Burrell would sell stray baseballs and dance accompanied by a beatboxer outside of the games in the parking lot. The team owner saw him doing the splits, hired him as the assistant and bat boy because of his energy and flair. They ended up nicknaming him Hammer because he looked like Hammer and Hank Aaron, the legendary baseball player. He had a look about him that was similar. Yeah. As far as I know, how old he was, very, very young when that happened. But before he did anything, it doesn't say specifically that he wanted to be a baseball player.
Just trying to remember where I read that.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would make sense. It was an important part of his life. He ended up going to the Army or to the Navy after that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, he served for the U.S. Navy for quite a while, 3 years with Patrol Squadron 47 as a petty officer, 3rd class aviation storekeeper, and then it received an honorable discharge. So he's considered a veteran of the U.S. Navy.
So when he lost all his money, did they support him? Did they make sure that he had a place to live?
That's a very good question. I bet. I didn't even look up into how he lost all his money yet, but that's going to come down the road.
Bad investments. It was.
Yeah, he overspent too, because I think he had like a crazy expensive house. He ended up having to sell it for like half the price or something.
Yeah, he had a $30 million house when people like didn't have $30 million houses. It was
He was valued at $200 million at one point, and somehow blew through that. Now, one thing that he said that he did a lot of was give money to the rest of the people in his posse. He kept a huge amount of people around him employed just to be around him. Yeah. Dancers, singers hanging out, part of the band, they were just to be his posse, and he just paid them to do so, bought them whatever they wanted. So that's when you're not just buying stuff for yourself, that's a huge way to blow through a huge chunk of change.
Well, do you remember when, I guess it probably would have been the time, that ticket stub that you showed, and he went to West Edmonton Mall after that. It was him and like 30 dudes, and he rented those carts for everybody, and everybody rode around on those stupid carts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he'd go to the stores, and they would like shoo everybody else out of the store, and he'd buy like 30 of one outfit so everybody could have the same outfit. And he was riding those carts up and down the escalators and stuff, and like, you're not supposed to do that, but they just did it anyway. And yeah, he made a real prick of himself when he was here for that.
Yeah. But his stardom was so legendary. He was the biggest rapper in the world at the time.
Sure.
Not only rapper, but he was one of the biggest pop stars in the world at the time.
He wasn't the best one, but he was the biggest one.
He was big. Yeah. He was huge.
Super popular, yeah.
Like, and just total cash. That's what it was all about with his whole image. But he was known for, like I said, taking care of the people in his crew. He was also known for making sure that everyone who was in his crew adhered to strict scheduling, that they abided by strict rules. I don't think they were allowed to do any drinking or drugs or anything.
Well, he's of Christian faith, isn't he?
Yes.
Like he's a. I thought I read somewhere too that he actually is like an ordained preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he got into that after.
Yeah, I think that came later. But he'd always professed to be a Christian throughout all of this. And I don't think he ever ran into a drug or alcohol abuse problem for himself. So I think that's something that he demanded from the people around him. It's like, I'll take care of you guys and we're going to have a great time, but you guys have to like walk the straight and narrow.
Can I think about it?
Legit.
You got to be legit, too legit.
Yeah. You got to be too legit or you have to quit. That's that's basically the contract you sign. I, Colin, will be legit or I will quit. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, yeah. So I went on this app that used to be popular like 5 years ago called Periscope.
Oh, yeah. That was popular for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Owned by Twitter. Yeah. So basically you go on there and you can like live stream to a bunch of strangers. And I got a notification on my phone because I still have Periscope installed and it said MC Hammer has gone live. This is like, what, 3-4 weeks ago? I was like, oh, shit. So I'm like, can't hurt to check it out. Click on the link. There's like 20 people watching. That's it at that moment. Because I was right in there early. And I see it's him because like he starts the video where he's like kind of holding the phone out, looking at himself, just like say hi or whatever he's doing. And he takes the phone and he turns it around so that the camera's facing his yard. And it's a certified account because it's got like the blue check mark so you know it's legit, too legit to quit.
Yeah.
And
just legit enough not to quit. Yeah.
Yeah, just legit enough. That's gonna be the theme of this podcast.
just legit enough to still be employed.
I'm putting that in the title. And so I was like typing to him because he can't hear me talk. So I'm typing and I said, hey, I was hoping if you had some time that you would like to be on my podcast, I'm doing an episode about you. And he wrote back, he didn't even actually speak out loud, but he wrote back, LOL, or no, he goes, sorry, no podcast for me, LOL, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's fair. At least he was nice. he has no interest in it. And then I was reading that in one of the more recent reviews he's done, or interviews he's done, he doesn't really do interviews anymore. He stopped speaking with journalists because they approach him with shallow questions. He doesn't enjoy the things that he gets asked because he finds that a lot of questions that are asked of him aren't
legit.
They're not legit. And they're not pertaining to him as a human being, where he wants to talk about like the human behind all of this shit.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's just kind of not interested. He's not interested in doing an interviews type thing anymore. And that's probably why he said no to me.
Well, I'm thinking so. And I mean, he doesn't know who you are or what kind of show
Nobody knows who the fuck I am. Right.
No, that's right. I bet that's, you know, yeah.
We all start somewhere. And can't hurt to ask. So I did.
That's right. If you were Joe Rogan, he wouldn't have been so flippant, would he?
Yeah. Joe Rogan. You know what I heard he's doing for his podcast?
What's that?
Because he has it live in his studio. What he does when people come to be on the show is he has instant COVID-19 tests there.
I heard that he just tests people. Yeah,
test people. Results come back in like 20 minutes, and then they sit down together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he burns through. He does a test every day.
Option.
Well, that's been controversial as well because those tests are like a lot of money. They're $360 each or something. Yeah, and he's burning through them like crazy. And like people who need to get one can't afford one. He does one every fucking day.
Yeah, because in the States they have to pay, right? And like there's lots of like everyday people that can't even get them.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I heard that was causing a bit of a stir. But where was I with this? Oh yeah. So yeah, he joined the Navy. He was a bat boy, and then he put together an album Eventually. What do you guys have for notes anyways?
Ha! I had wanted to be a pro baseball player. I think I read that off his Wikipedia page.
No, I'm here for comic relief. I don't know a lot of it.
Okay. That's cool. But the MC in his nickname came from the Master of Ceremonies, obviously, which he used when he began performing at various clubs while on the road with the Oakland A's and eventually in the military. So that's where the name came from, the full-length MC Hammer.
Is he called Hammer because he has a big one?
No, we already talked about why he's called Hammer.
Yeah, I know.
He looks like that baseball player.
It's because his dick's huge.
Yeah. He's just got a big schwanz.
When we were watching the Too Legit to Quit video there was that moment where they pan up after they go from James Brown and then they like look over to Hammer and he's like doing a montage and he's like kicking ass.
He's shirtless and he's like
they like pan up his body and I'm like, holy crap, they're like showing him in his underwear. I can see the outline of his bulge.
That's not very Christian.
Of his hammer.
He could have been MC Wiener. MC Big Wiener.
Yeah, he was in a Christian rap group before putting out his own thing. It was called Holy Ghost Boys.
Wow, I bet that made a lot of money.
Some songs produced were called Word and B-Boy Chill. The Wall.
It's called Word.
The Word. It's called Word.
The Word, not Word, but the Word.
Yeah, I thought it would be The Word because it's Christian, but it was just called Word.
Word.
So he had the first contemporary Christian music rap hit ever.
Really?
Yeah. And then so I was wrong about the number of albums he's had. He's had 6 because his first debut album was called Son of the King. Oh, wait, no. Wow, I'm really fucking prepared. So no, the song was called Son of the King, released on his debut album Feel My Power. And then it was that was in 1987, and then re-released on the
Feel My Hammer.
Yeah,
Feel My Hammer Power.
His first mainstream album, Let's Get It Started, in 1988. I had that too. I had Let's Get It Started somewhere. Anyway, so he starts eventually. He had a posse. He started signing new talent to his own label, like Oaktown Records or whatever the hell he called it. When he signed this girl group called Oaktown 357, and they went on tour with him too. And I was trying to see if any of those girls would be available to be on the show, but they're not responding to me.
No.
Also, from what I've gathered from researching Oaktown 357, those girls didn't have the best ending of their relationship with MC Hammer because they didn't like how they were treated. Not in a way of I think it was a thing where they didn't like how strict his regiment was, and now you had to fall in line with how he wanted things done, or you were out.
And they wanted to party all the time with Eddie Murphy.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened.
Cue the party all the time.
That's right. I wouldn't want to be a rock star if I couldn't party.
I bet they never hung out. I bet Hammer and Eddie never hung out.
I think probably not. Because Eddie was doing blowing bitches and Hammer was not.
Yeah. So Feel My Power comes out.
Feel My Hammer.
Feel My Hammer comes out.
Feel My Hammer, yeah.
And on his Oaktown Records label, it was released in 87. Let's Get It Started was off that, but then an album came out called Let's Get It Started later. Once he got his first major record label signing to Capitol Records. There was a song on there called Pump It Up. Turn This Mother Out.
Turn This Mother Out. I remember that one.
Turn This Mother Out.
Yeah.
Yes. And They Put Me in the Mix. So this was his first multi-platinum successful album. He decided that for the next album coming out that it'd be more musical than rap. There'd be more musically melodic content. Ooh, listen to this. MC Hammer was very good friends with Arsenio Hall. as well as then unknown team named Robert Van Winkle, aka Vanilla Ice, despite later rumors that there was a beef between the two rappers, which was addressed during the height of both of their careers on Arsenio's show, and who he would later reunite with in 2009 in Salt Lake City. So Hammer did and Vanilla Ice did a show together. It was a really that was definitely one of those versus things at the time, and it didn't make any sense to me because Vanilla Ice was pretty much a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
and he had one album that did anything, and even the subsequent singles weren't that exciting, so I couldn't understand. They seem to have, in my opinion, nothing in common.
Well, they both got super famous off of a sample. I think that's what I think. Is they both got super famous off of a big sample.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But like, I feel like Ice's career was more of a flash in the pan in comparison.
Oh, for sure, because he was so poorly self-managed, not professionally but personally. Like, I mean, the guy's mentally ill, and he was not so stable.
Oh, really?
And everything was based on a lie. Like,
yeah, because like wasn't he like putting out that he was like a huge gangster and then from the suburbs or something?
He came from the hard streets, and he was the white kid that hung out with the black kids and blah blah blah. And it turned out that
crap.
All a bunch of bullshit. He was a white suburban kid. Yeah, and he could dance real well.
You could tell by looking at him though that he wasn't a street kid. Just his image wasn't that at all.
Sure. I have one good piece of MC Hammer information that I think is pertinent though. My dad told me when MC Hammer got big, he confided in me. He said, "I got to be honest. When this guy came out, I thought it was like McHammer, like it was like McDonald's, like it was McHammer." I took
McHammer.
Yeah, he saw it in print, and he just thought it was like McHammer. That was the guy's name. It took him a long time to realize, oh no, the guy's MC Hammer. But he was like, oh, it's McHammer. So my dad would have been about 10 years older than I am now. I guess. So,
I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's unbelievable. I love it.
I can't wait till I do something equally embarrassing to my niece and nephew.
So I was reading about like him being like a preacher or ordained or whatever, and he actually officiated Corey Feldman's wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who did Corey Feldman marry?
I don't even, not anybody big, but I read about that. I'm like, really? Like, what a wedding MC Hammer's here. Like, freaking officiate. That's crazy.
I think they got to be friends on Surreal Life.
That's right. They were on the Surreal Life. I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't know Hammer did that show.
Oh, yeah. He was broke as shit when he did that show.
I bet. It seemed like, it always seemed like he had more money even being bankrupt than being on the Surreal Life.
It's true. Yeah, no, on the Surreal Life, he presented as super broke. I don't know if he was or not, but that's how he presented. So
that was the shtick.
Yeah.
Please.
That was when Mini-Me was on that one too. Mini-Me peed in the corner, I remember.
Oh, I remember that.
Vern Troyer. No, that was the one with Jordan Knight, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Vern Troyer. That Vanilla Ice was on that one too.
I think so.
I remember Adrian Curry from America's Next Top Model, because I remember Vern Troyer was being like super crude and like totally like unexpectedly like
he's a little purple.
Grossly hitting on her.
Yeah. He was talking about like ejaculating. I remember one thing he said something about ejaculating. Yeah, like he was
super crude.
Yeah. He peed in the corner. He'd go drunk all the time.
He got drunk, yeah, I remember that. And they had to like put him to bed, and he was like moaning and rolling around.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that show.
Well, and then I mean, years later, he did drink himself to death. So I mean, can't laugh too hard at him. But yeah, that was
Oh, he enjoyed himself. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I didn't remember Hammer being on the show, and I remembered Flava Flav and Bridget Nelson's romance.
Flava Flav.
That was the season that was with Jordan Knight, and I can't remember who else. Oh, Dave Coulier.
Oh, from right. Full House, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people on that show that never really, like, they didn't contribute. Like, what's his name? The guy, George Jefferson, whoever played him, Sherman, whatever that guy's name is. Yeah. He got no camera time because he didn't do anything like outrageous. He just like kept to himself, and
he'd be like Stanley from The Office. He'd be
like, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to be here.
Just too
boring.
If
there's ever any controversy, he didn't weigh in on it. Like, okay, well, you guys do your thing. Yeah. Just give me my 20 grand and I'm out.
I feel like there's always somebody in a reality show situation who's just the straight guy.
Yeah.
Just to like level it out and go, I don't know why the fuck I'm here.
Vince Neil wasn't too crazy. Yeah, Vince Neil just stayed drunk and didn't really say anything.
That's where, like, if I'd be on it, I would like do it for the money, but I would just drink a lot and do funny shit, but not get involved in any drama.
Sure.
Then you get lots of airtime.
Like Ron Jeremy enjoyed
not for the right reasons, but for funny reasons.
Yeah. Ron Jeremy had a super good time. He loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But Ron Jeremy just kind of loves everything, so he's always happy.
Well, he's a lucky bastard and he knows it. Not many people in
sure.
position can be that fucking rich and famous.
But you know, if you ever, like, if you read his book or if you watch any of the documentaries made about him, he really craves mainstream legitimacy. And like,
yeah, you picked the wrong career for that. Yeah.
Well, right?
Yeah, he's about as mainstream as porn stars will get.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if I was him, that was what I would be like. Okay, cool. I'm at the top of the shit heap anyway. You know,
yeah.
So I feel about working at Rosario's. I'm at the top of the shit heap anyway, so that's all right.
Oh, that's so good.
It's a big dung pile, and at least I'm at the top.
Rest in peace, karaoke.
That's right.
Yeah. Cheers.
Please, hammer. Don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him with your big hammer. See, I should have saved that. I'm only going to get the sincere laugh for that one once.
Notorious for dissing rappers in his previous recordings, Hammer appropriately titled his third album. He was a disser?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right, but
I know he got dissed a lot. He seemed to get dissed a lot by other rappers. Like, a lot of the hardcore rappers didn't like him because of all of his money and success.
Well, because he was clean,
commercialism.
like he was, yeah.
But I mean, Will Smith got the same kind of flack too.
Well, he did. I mean, Will Smith was a clean rapper.
Very much. Yeah. So a lot of like the hardcore guys didn't respect either of them. Let alone Vanilla Ice. They were probably just like, whoa, white boy, go home.
I got to figure out my camera angle better. It looks like I'm on my 600-pound life with this angle. It's like all of this is me down here.
I like the angle before. You had a good angle.
What, that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the light, then my face gets dark.
Oh, poor you.
Poor me. But see, I've been looking this way so long that my neck gets sore. So yeah, like,
but the lighting's good.
But the lighting is good.
If you had a way to prop it up on a stand of some kind so your neck could look straight ahead, you'd probably feel better.
Yeah, probably.
What are you using? A computer or are you using a?
No, just iPad.
Ah.
That's all right. I got half an hour left in me, and we won't be talking longer than that. I can't imagine.
We'll see. So, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. 1990, the big album, sold 20 million copies. Not only that, he was the first rapper with this album to hit diamond status in sales in the US ever. And he still holds the record for the longest time an album was at #1 on the Billboard chart, 21 weeks.
Wow.
21 weeks.
That's right.
And that was all on the strength of You Can't Touch This.
It was.
Pretty much. Yeah.
On sampling Rick James' Super Freak made him a huge overnight sensation.
Yeah.
Massive song. And the video was extremely simple.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was just dancing.
It was colorful. It was flashy. But the dance moves were so cool. And it was those damn pants.
I was going to say, it's got to be the pants.
I wonder how much the pants had to do.
Too legit.
The pants were too legit. I had a pair of those pants, but not shiny.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I had a My best friend Stacy, her mom had some kind of like party, like a Tupperware party, but it was for clothes. And the lady presenting clothes had pairs of parachute pants. And it was a purple pair, but it was made out of like a sweat material. Like it was like sweatpants.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all glitz and glamoury like Hammer pants, but I could wear them with like all my shirts. Like
Wow.
they went with everything.
I would actually, they went with nothing, but that's
They
okay.
went with nothing, but I wore them a lot, and I was so proud of them. Yeah, Hammer pants. But it's funny because the Hammer pants parachute pants were such a big deal about Hammer, but then not 3 years ago maybe Justin Bieber starts wearing them.
Yeah, well,
and more rappers and people were bringing them back.
Yeah, the 90s kind of style apparently is coming back, which I find very interesting.
Well,
90s style, like as far as the grunge style too, or the more the street style?
I don't think plaid shirts have ever really gone out of style. I think like if you wear a plaid shirt, you wear a plaid shirt. It's not like a fashion faux pas or a trend either.
But you gotta wear it with the white t-shirt. It's gotta be tied around your waist, man.
Or be a lesbian.
Or wear Docs.
You're allowed to say that.
I'm allowed to say that.
Doc Martens were big at that time too, with the grunge and the plaid and all that. But like, I bought a pair of Docs last year just because I love Docs, and someone goes, "Oh, you got yourself some lesbian boots, eh?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck?" I had these when I was a teenager, and they were really cool, and I just like them. Like they last forever.
Yeah. They're just really cool. But
I like how they look. I and I'm like, I guess
I
got my lesbian
have
feet
good
on.
taste.
That's right. Good hardy boots, and I'm proud of them.
Sensible boots.
They're sensible.
There's a reason when I was a kid that I loved Doc Martens, but I just didn't know it then.
You just didn't know it yet.
Your vagina was telling you something.
Yeah.
One day you'd be interested in scissor action. Just kidding.
When you had the talk with your mom, she says, "I know, I bought you this."
That's why
honestly, when I had that conversation, my mom was like, "Yeah, I know." My best friend's brother told my best friend when I finally came out, he was like, "Oh, we were all just waiting for her to come out."
Don't you find that most people's coming out stories are like that, where people aren't really surprised?
No, they're just like waiting for you to come to the realization that everybody else already came to 4 years ago. That was pretty much me.
That's so interesting to me.
Yeah. I tried real hard to do the, straight.
Real hard to do penis, and it just was not for you.
Yeah.
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 You never had an interest in the hammer. It's fine.
That's why you're doing this podcast now. I'm not that legit.
We're so punny. I love it. Okay. Yeah. So big hit, big 12-inch single hit.
12-inch single, yes.
The album was #1 success for 21 weeks, due primarily to that single. First time ever for a recording on the pop charts. It still continued to be used in a lot of things. Now, the amount of commercials Hammer has done over his career is also ridiculous. Another reason why he had so much money. I was thinking we could watch a couple of those commercials if you guys were interested.
Sure,
yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys, I hope you remember this commercial. Okay, ready? It might be loud.
But Hammer, I'm starving. Let's get some burgers. Burgers? And that's out the door. I got something much better in mind. Come on, let's break.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
Yeah, the Hammer went to the border because the border's in order.
Yes.
The border's in order.
Because the border's in order. Yeah, that was a good one. Hammer commercial. Oh, MC Hammer KFC. Oh, we're not going to watch that. No.
No, not the
No. It's no.
Well, you're stuck here.
Where is here?
This is Lake Edna.
Lake Edna! Hammer! Wait a minute. Sound like it's gonna be another one of those.
Isn't that? Sure looks like it. That's that new KFC honey barbecue chicken.
KFC honey barbecue fried chicken. Something new in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the latest ones, he has made a comeback as of the Super Bowl with the Cheetos commercials. Oh my goodness. Oh, these are so bad and so awesome at the same time.
I haven't seen these yet.
Okay, this is the preview.
Wait, I can't touch this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, okay, it goes right into the next one. And then those aren't even the official commercials.
Literally willing to do anything for $1. Yeah.
I don't want to do a YouTube survey right now, for fuck's sakes. Okay.
You can't touch this.
Help.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
I trust you.
Stop. Hammer time. I touched it. New Cheetos popcorn. It's a Cheetos thing.
Hey, I'm gonna need you to... Never mind.
You can't touch this.
Help.
You can't touch this.
I think it's the same one.
You can't touch this.
I really want Cheetos popcorn.
You can't touch this.
Do they sell it here?
Stop.
I haven't seen it yet.
Hammer time.
Hammer time.
I touched it. New Cheetos popcorn.
Because
It's
those
a Cheetos
flaming hot Cheetos, I'm addicted to. Like the regular flaming hot Cheetos.
That's been your snack of choice during quarantine, right?
It is my quarantine snack of choice. I am a full sponsor of it.
Yeah.
I tried the snack that you bought me. It's pretty good. Thank you.
It is pretty good, right? That's been my snack of choice.
Dope Nostalgia brought to you by that.
Flamin' Cheetos popcorn.
Flamin' Cheetos popcorn.
Mm. So yeah, that probably got him some more cash again, but he had a lot of commercials. British Knights, he had a pair of shoes. Do you remember the British Knights sneakers?
Not until you just mentioned it, but now I do, yeah.
Yep, he had a sponsorship for them too. I think they actually had a pair of shoes that were his pair of shoes as well.
So he almost seems like the original, like, do-it-all type artist.
Merchandise, making it off merchandise and knowing how to sell yourself.
Well, because he had he had like dolls as well. Like
he did have dolls, and that came with cassettes. I think I had the doll because I remember having the cassette from a doll more so than the doll itself.
And then the cartoon, the commercials.
Yeah. So that's how you end up with a fortune like he had. It was more so that than anything.
And then he lost it all. How does that happen?
Well, you think it'll never end and you just shovel it out the door and then it just stops coming in as fast and oops, it's all gone.
Yeah, totally. Well, and was there lawsuits around him too? Because I was reading about that, like something about him not paying his taxes.
That could be right.
Yeah, because I read something about him not paying his taxes and that he ended up getting caught.
Yeah, he had tax problems, and Wesley Snipes had tax problems, and I'm just trying to think of the big names that had tax problems. Like, Willie Nelson had bad tax problems. Like, these guys just made a ton of money, and they just didn't pay any of it to the government.
Yeah. Which, like, is crazy, because, like, when you make that much money...
Yeah, you think you just have an accountant do it for you and figure it out.
Totally.
So, someone says to me earlier it was 200 million, but according to Wikipedia, contrary to public rumor, Hammer claimed he was never really down and out as reported by the media. which he expressed on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2009, originally having an estimated net worth of over $33 million, according to Forbes magazine. Speculations about his status emerged during delays between the albums Too Legit to Quit and The Funky Headhunter, that's saying that he spent most of his money on staff and personal luxuries at that time and supporting friends and family, which ultimately ended up with not only losing $33 million, but becoming $13 million in debt.
Holy shit.
He ended up charging for Chapter 11 in 1996. Case was converted to Chapter 7 in 1998. That's tough, but
I would just like the ability to get buried in $13 million worth of debt.
Yeah,
I just like that opportunity.
That much money, right?
Yeah. And then once I'm buried in as much debt, what are you going to do? I guess, I had a good time. But...
Is that when they start taking stuff away from you? You can't even have the things that you spent the money on?
You can't even have anything. Yeah. You don't get,
from you?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Sucks. I'm going to, I don't know if you guys want to hear any song clips or not, but I can always add those in between, as I usually do.
Yeah.
Too Legit to Quit came out in 1991, and that was when they did that video that we watched earlier at the beginning of the show. It was like a 15-minute music video to introduce Too Legit to Quit to the world, with so many celebrity cameos, especially the James Brown one, which was super cool. And it would seem like they were ripping on Michael Jackson because James...
I think they made a new that with Thriller. The idea was he was going to make his own Thriller.
Yeah. And then and basically it was trying to show like Michael kind of like conceded to him in the end.
Like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too much. Maybe that's why subsequent albums didn't do as well. Maybe it was just so much over the top at that point that people kind of moved on from it.
How could you see that video as over the top?
Oh, come on.
I think when you're that stage of your career, you can't start talking like I'm Michael Jackson yet.
But
like Kid Rock, Kid Rock name checks a lot of people, but he never says he's bigger than Run DMC. He never says that he's bigger than Leonard Skinner.
At that point, like what his biggest hit was "You Can't Touch This," right?
Yeah.
And
which was huge, but
really at that point, how many hits had Michael Jackson had already?
Oh,
like
Michael Jackson was untouchable.
Yeah, like he had so many hits, like you couldn't touch it at all.
Couldn't touch it. He touched himself.
Well, it's like when Oasis got to be about the biggest rock band in the world for a while, and when they came out and said they're bigger than the Beatles, people just hated that.
Yeah.
So,
well, because it like you can be huge in your own right, but it's kind of a disrespect to kind of put down these people that have come before you, have kind of paved that way for you.
Sure.
And like the thing is the Beatles were and still are such a huge staple in music. Like,
to be fair, John Lennon said that they were bigger than Jesus. So I'm sure
that also upset a lot of people.
Yeah. But they were still popular afterwards, weren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, they say no. What's the saying about all press is good press? There's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you get people talking about you, that's all you really need, whether it's good or bad. So apparently MC Hammer told an amusing story on the Wendy Williams show about that.
That's been the first amusing show. That's been the first amusing story on the Wendy Williams show. Actually, he gets credit for that too.
He told a story about the time Michael Jackson phoned him regarding the Too Legit to Quit video that included the fake Michael Jackson at the end giving his approval and inclusion of it. So Michael was cool with it. He explained how Michael had seen the video and liked it, and both expressed they were fans of one another. Hammer and Jackson would later appear, speak, and perform at the funeral service for James Brown.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
They made peace.
He's not controversial, eh? He hasn't done anything wild and crazy. He's just a good guy. MC Hammer's a good guy who made some mistakes with his money. And, you know, do you guys have a song of his besides the obvious one that you like?
I remember listening to that song "Pray." That was another one that was a fairly big one, wasn't it?
Sampled Prince, "When Doves Cry."
I was gonna say "Having a Roni," but that's Vanilla Ice.
That is Vanilla Ice. I still want to know what a roni is.
A roni, I looked this up. I googled it because I wanted to know too.
I want to have
a roni. Is a young, tasty girl.
What is like having a
roni?
There's a Bobby Brown song called "Tender Roni."
There you go. Or do you remember "Stop That Train"? I want to get off.
Wrong guy, but yes, I remember that. Yes. Hammer put out an album in '94 called "Funky Headhunter," and it was supposed to be him changing his style. He was ready to have more of a hard look, hard attitude. He wanted to be more like a heavy hitting rapper.
He wanted to be more legit.
He wanted to keep up. He wanted to be
more legit.
He needs to be more legit with the gangster rap audience. And that,
like when LL Cool J came back. But don't call it a comeback.
Yes, that's precisely it. So this was a harder edge, more aggressive record. It went gold, but failed to win him a new audience among hardcore hip hop fans who still didn't take him seriously. He had another appearance on Arsenio Hall to release that album and debuted the video for Pumps and a Bump. Pumps and a Bump. Do you guys remember that song?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. So, but Pumps and a Bump was probably the last memorable single that he put out in his career, I think. And then he put out another album called Inside Out with Death. Oh, no, that was not with Death Row, was it? No. Can you imagine if he signed to Death Row Records? He did. Hammer's relationship with Suge Knight dates back to 1988. Hammer signs with Death Row Records in 1995, home to Snoop Dogg and his close friend Tupac Shakur. The label did not release the album of Hammer's music titled Too Tight. While he had
Too Tight for My Big Hammer.
While he had a career with them. So he recorded tracks with Tupac and others, most notably the song Too Late Playa, along with Big Daddy Kane and Danny Boy. After the death of Tupac in 1996, Hammer left that record company. He later explained his concern about the circumstance in an interview with the Christian broadcasting network called Trinity Broadcasting Network, since he was in Las Vegas with Tupac the night of his death.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Maybe I should.
Yeah. But he prayed, and then he was all right. He had an angel on his shoulder. He had to pray, and he made it that day. That's why he prays. Pray.
Oh, wow.
See? Yeah. I knew it.
I just said one of my favorite tracks, one of my favorite MC Hammer tracks is She's Soft and Wet. off, please, Hammer, don't hurt him.
Don't hurt him with the big hammer.
She's soft and wet. That's pretty much the chorus. But I'll share the song for you guys so you can get a listen to that, a little clip. Now Hammer's 58 years old. He spent a lot of time actually becoming an investor in tech companies. He's very interested in the future and technology and how the internet works, apps. He's just put as much as he can into those things. Also, I didn't really know how he started making money again. How did he get himself out of bankruptcy?
I think when you're at that level, you probably have people that will help. Mm-hmm. People that will show you the way out for 10%, or whatever.
Yeah, and people that got him on the track to start making money and paying off his debt. But yeah, because I think the thing was, he's still such a huge name that he could do all kinds of things and still make money.
Sure.
Like commercials.
Yeah, for Cheetos.
But then he started making better choices, probably stopped giving everyone else's money, probably stopped, having a posse and paying for it.
So that album was called Please Hammer, Don't Pay Him. Please Hammer, don't hire him.
I think you all figured out that Colin's a comedian by now.
Zing.
Yeah.
I'm here all week, waka waka.
Something that I found really interesting is that he has had the same wife for 25 years. He married her before the fame. Stephanie is her name, and they have 5 kids together. So he's got to feed the mouths of 5 hungry children.
5 hungry children and a crop in the field.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kenny Rogers.
It's true.
When I was a kid, I used to think that song said 400 children, and I wondered how he had 400 children. Like, I wondered if it was like a school.
Constant fucking. That's
yeah, like that lady's vagina must have been wrecked. Like, couldn't have been good.
This is the not safe for work edition of Dope Nostalgia.
It isn't what I'm on. Just assume that if my name's on the thing.
Yeah, he did a lot of reality shows. That's probably made lots of money too. He did a VH1 movie called Too Legit, the MC Hammer story. So
I've seen that.
He produced that. Then a lot like the Surreal Life, which we already talked about. He was a dance judge on Dance Fever on ABC Family. So, that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're doing reality shows. Tons of
I wish I could do one.
You could do
a quarantine one.
You could make your own show and put it on YouTube.
Nobody gives a shit what I do during the day. Nobody wants to watch me look on Facebook and have naps and make macaroni.
Fucking attitude.
Now I'm making macaroni with cheese whiz. Look, guys. Yeah.
You couldn't be more boring. Thanks, Colin.
I'm going to put tuna in this one. Yeah.
Oh, that's so delicious. Ooh. I like that. I like that. So I pretty much covered most of my notes about the Hammer Man. Yeah, it's too bad we couldn't get him on the show, but it's nice to chat about him. I mean, he's like seriously famous. That's a hard get. That's a hard get.
No, I mean, now if that would have happened, that would have been amazing. You'd have got in the Edmonton Journal.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Like, that's serious. But I know that, so he's been doing the commercials and stuff. What else was he doing lately? Oh, I thought I had something here in my mind that I was going to share that he's been doing lately. I lost it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, the coolest thing he did in recent years that I think was in 2013. Do you remember Gangnam Style? Psy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'd never heard that one, Naomi. You have to stick it for me.
So the song, shut up. The song Gangnam Style was a huge, massive hit. One hit wonder, kind of, right? For Psy. Psy had 2 hits in North America. So he's performing at the American Music Awards, Gangnam Style, and halfway through, they bring out Hammer and they do the song together, and then it turns into like Too Legit to Quit, and then they mash up the 2 songs, and it was so brilliant, so brilliant. People were on their feet freaking out. It was just unreal. But that was a good call, I think. Very entertaining to watch.
I could see how that would work and like really kind of surprise people, but I could see the relevance of both of them, kind of, because like Psy has that same sort of like kind of goofy but like still talented.
Mm-hmm.
And they both did a side-to-side dance.
They both had a signature dance.
Yeah, and they're both side-to-side dancers, and side-to-side dancing is very difficult. So if you're good at it, you got to hang out with other people who also side-to-side dance.
So you can just do it together.
It's an exclusive club.
That's right. There's basically them and people who do blind dancing.
Yeah, they both wore the pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pants are important.
At least, the cool thing about Hammer is that he's not one of those guys who like tries to forget about his past or tries to like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that. He still embraces what made him who he was. Or a lot of people don't do that. Like,
that's how he makes the money, yo.
Yeah, I don't know what else I got here. You guys sound like you really don't want to talk about this anymore.
Well, I don't have anything else to add.
I know. I'm like, I went through all my notes too. So I'm like, okay, so we talked about this. And we talked about the cartoon.
Like I say, I'm here to make smart ass comments. That's what I add to this.
Yeah, just trying to see if there's a good way to wrap it up. That'll be interesting. Notable beefs. There's a section on Wikipedia called Notable Beefs. Notable feuds. Notable feuds and beefs Hammer had with other rappers include LL Cool J, Vanilla Ice, Too Short, Redman, Third Base, Jay-Z, Eminem, A Tribe Called Quest, and Run DMC.
So almost everybody.
So everybody.
Everybody.
Except Tupac, apparently. Several diss tracks were featured on the Funky Headhunter. Wow, he was angry. That's probably why he put out a gangster rap album.
I think I read something about him and LL Cool J. LL Cool J said something in the press about him being not legit enough or something.
But LL was pretty soft.
Yeah.
Like when you think about the rap industry, I think LL was pretty soft too. Or at least he got soft. He might have started out not that way, but he ended up becoming like an award show.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
But
Mama go knock you out.
That's right.
I think LL was a huge part of the initial beginnings of rap music as a whole. And he was pretty, hardcore and gangster back then, I guess. But I feel like he got pretty soft. Like, like people say that about Ice Cube because he started doing movies and family movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to be like
maybe
NWA.
That's why LL had beef with MC Hammer. It's like there's only room for one softie in this town.
I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know what the beef was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was about a girl with extensions in her hair and bamboo earrings, at least two. My brain is fried.
To wrap up a phenomenal career, though, man, he sold more than 50 million records worldwide. He's won 3 Grammy Awards, 8 American Music Awards, a People's Choice Award, and AACP Image Award, and the Billboard Diamond Award, the first for a hip-hop artist. So what a career. And it was really cool to talk about him today. And he was a big part of my childhood because, first concert. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The spectacle. It was a good one to have for the first one because just people standing on a stage playing guitar and singing and all that afterwards was kind of bland in comparison, I guess.
He kind of set the standard for not just like playing music, but like putting on a production and a show. I think that was kind of like his big thing is he was all about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with like him being involved in like, a cartoon and all of these other, like it was all about the product. Like he kind of made himself a product. Yeah. Yeah.
He was one of those early ones that were definitely marketing themselves as a packaged product. But there's definitely more than before that were doing it. Even New Kids on the Block had like that kind of merchandising. Probably even before that, think about like, I guess like the Partridge Family and like the Monkees, and I'm sure they were all selling stuff.
Was there any more rappers before him? That's
no.
The thing. Like
he was the first rapper to do it.
Yeah. So that it's pretty groundbreaking when you think of it that way.
Hugely. You're right. So
cashing in, man.
So That's it. That's where all the credit lies. So it was cool. Thank you guys for talking about him with me today. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Got anything else to plug?
Hammer man, hammer.
Please go to selectdjs.ca and hire me for 2021 because I know I'm not going to work this year. But consider me for 2021 for bar mitzvahs, weddings, summer parties, karaoke parties,
comedy,
anything you'd like to hire me to do, I will do it. I'll even strip if you're into fat dudes. Like anything, just send me a message and I'll do it.
Get into the online DJing parties. Maybe that'll be a thing.
Yeah, all the people that have tried doing that, but that's a whole different show.
Once again, I don't got nothing to plug. Last time she asked me this question, we ended up plugging my day job because we realized we were talking about commercials, and I work at the Chevy farm, so we sang farm jingle.
We literally closed the show.
The Chevy farm.
The Chevy farm.
Yeah.
Whiskey Chevrolet.
Only Edmonton.
Prove you're in the West.
And
people from far and wide to put us to the test.
And that's so local. Nobody else in the world will be like, what the fuck is that?
When the deal is done, they'll agree there's only one that leads away. Yes.
Yeah. That's how we ended it the last time when I was on.
Nice.
We should get a big country artist to cover that song. Like big country artists from Alberta.
There's somebody with a deep voice like Paul Brandt.
I was just gonna say Paul Brandt.
or St. Paul boy, what's his name? Brett
Kissel.
Brett Kissel could do it because he'd probably know it.
Hey, he's pretty young though.
That's fine. Don't they still play that commercial?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They still use that jingle.
Yeah.